23.
What do you think was so impressive about him?
His experience, he's so smart. He have everything in a fighter, a complete fighter. He don't have power in the punches.
So no make sense when you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I don't want to have credit face Crawford, but you never know.
Terence Crawford and Floyd Mayweather met earlier this week in preparation for his September fight against Canelo Alvarez. The two Americans had some behind-closed-doors training session where Floyd Mayweather, the very first man to defeat Canelo Alvarez, worked on some boxing skills with Terence Crawford to ensure he doesn't come up short against his opponent. As a result, Canelo Alvarez has broken his silence. The Mexican superstar took on Mayweather over a decade ago, with the two men meeting at the MGM Grand in Las Vegas in September 2013.
You fought Floyd Mayweather at what? You're 23?
23.
That's so fucking young.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I trained so hard, and now obviously I tried to beat him because if you beat him, you wanna be the best in the world. 23.
Alvarez had just turned 23 heading into the bout and was the reigning World Boxing Council super welterweight champion, bringing an undefeated record of 42 wins and 1 draw. Mayweather was World Boxing Association super welterweight champion, and his record was similar at 440, but at the age of 36 was at the tail end of his career, leading some fans to believe that Canelo could be capable of inflicting a first defeat on the American. The fight didn't transpire that way though, as Alvarez struggled to deal with his legendary opponent as Mayweather claimed the victory on points, though the scorecards were much closer than expected, with one judge even scoring at 114-114.
When you that kind of fighter, you don't need it.
You think that was the toughest fight you faced?
No, I think it's tough fights and difficult fights. That was a difficult.
Having experienced 12 rounds with Mayweather, Canelo needed just 3 words to sum up what he thinks of his rival's boxing ability. Whilst talking to the Full Send podcast, He Has Everything, Canelo then revealed that while Mayweather may not have hurt him in the fight, it's an area of his game that he didn't need. He's experienced, he's so smart, he is a complete fighter, he doesn't have power in the punches. But when you are that kind of fighter, you don't need
big. And everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford, fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo.
Mayweather would later retire with a perfect 50-0 record, while Canelo now holds a record of 62 wins, 2 defeats and 2 draws, with his only other loss coming to Dimitri Bivol in May 2022. While he couldn't but acknowledge Mayweather's greatness, he didn't believe so much in his partnership with Terence Crawford. Canelo was said to be initially reluctant in taking a fight against the 37-year-old from Omaha, but it appears the Mexican icon has changed his mind and is now gearing up for his latest challenge.
Wow, a small fighter like Charlo is big, which he is big, and everybody's talking about if I'm gonna face Crawford.
Speaking on the fight during an interview with a reputable boxing platform, the 34-year-old revealed he was in for the clash with, but admitting he won't get any credit. I respect Crawford, he's a great fighter. I always say that, no disrespect to him. Sometimes it's a little crazy that people talk about a small fighter like Charo, which is big, and then everybody is talking about, if I'm going to face Crawford, a fighter at 147 who is smaller than Charo, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. But you guys say that right now. At the end of the day, I won't have any credit if I face Crawford, but you never know. You never know. In boxing, I go up and down and fight everybody out there, so it's possible. Why not? It's possible.
Fighter 147, who is smaller than Charlo. So no make sense when you guys say.
This was almost a repeat of an interview he had earlier where he said, I'm in. Why not? I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter, but for me in my weight class, it's an easy fight for me, easy money. If the money is right, I'm in, because I don't like to fight guys like Crawford because he moves a lot and the fight is not that great. I saw Crawford in the last fight and he doesn't move that much now, so yeah, if the money is right, I'm in. However, one of the greatest ever Mexican boxers does not see competition in the fight between two of the best boxers.
Crawford wins con Canelo. No le gusta Crawford Canelo. He said, don't be.
Julio César Chavez won the hearts of boxing fans in Mexico for his tough fights, where he remained unbeaten for 89 bouts. In contrast, the current figure of Mexican boxing, Canelo Alvarez, is criticized for not facing the best opponents he can. Regarding the possible fight between Saul Alvarez and Terence Crawford that is being talked about for September without being confirmed yet, JC Chavez has an opinion characteristic of his style, whereas Crawford going to beat Canelo was the response of the former Mexican fighter when asked how he sees this fight goes.
Okay, if you play baseball and not boxing, would you be a great baseball player? Then I saw you with the Padres. ¿No la historia de béisbol?
Chavez is one of several former boxers who have criticized the possibility of Alvarez and Crawford facing each other, and the main complaint is the weight difference. Canelo is at 168 pounds, while the Bud went up to 154 in his last fight against Israel Madrimov. While the fight is being confirmed, Sheikh Turki Alek, the main promoter seeking to arrange the duel, invited the two boxers to a challenge. In the video game Fatal Fury City of Wolves, the only fight that can be confirmed today after sharing a screenshot in a conversation between both pugilists.
We want financials. Tell them we going for Canelo next. Yes. Let's go. Canelo, come on. You heard it from him. We are ready. Just put me in the game, coach.
We're not talking about boxing, we're talking about the video game Fatal Fury City of Wolves, which will be released on April 24th, 2025. I challenged them in the game. It's the only thing I can challenge them in relation to a fight. They accepted my challenge in the game and we will get dinner. We decided not to do the boxing match because the three of us hate boxing and chose yoga instead. Keep talking and keep spreading rumors. In the end, only the three of us know and decide what, when, and where things happen, was Alel Sheikh's curious message. However, this contradicts the message from Team Crawford, as Terence Crawford's team has seemingly confirmed a blockbuster fight against Canelo Alvarez on September 13th.
Being that you're obviously again appealing Team Crawford, can you confirm? Are we going to see that fight? Has it been made official? Is it official?
It's on, baby. September 13th, baby. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo.
Heard it?
Listen how I said it.
Are we getting this confirmation here first?
Crawford and Canelo are two of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world at the moment. While Canelo is in super middleweight, Crawford is ready to make the jump in weight from 154 pounds to take on the Mexican Bernie Davis. A staple member of Crawford's team has now claimed that Bud is getting ready for a September showdown against Canelo. Speaking to Fight Hype, Davis said, "We will climb that mountain. It's on, baby, September 13th. Look forward to it. Crawford versus Canelo." As I said, Crawford versus Canelo. Yeah, it's confirmed. Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stands up.
It's confirmed. Man, what?
Say less.
Crawford versus Canelo, not the other way around. Team Crawford stand up. Pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the super middleweight champion of the world.
Pound for pound, the best in the world, soon to be the super middleweight champion of the world. That's the only challenge Crawford looked for, and it was only right. We deserve this challenge to be on the big stage in a mega fight, in a super fight, in what we call a David versus Goliath battle. He added again, we have a lot of disadvantages in this fight, as far as weight, as far as power, and a lot of things on par as far as accomplishments and skill set. The things he has done have hardly been done before. Two-time undisputed unified champion in 3 weights, but won 4 divisions. He's been on the pound-for-pound list for better than 10 years. What more can you ask for? We didn't get the Pacquiao fight, or Mayweather, or anyone of that caliber. This is the fight.
Come my way, and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight,
What makes a potential Canelo-Crawford fight particularly poignant is the fact that each man's Hall of Fame-worthy career is likely winding down. The 34-year-old Canelo has literally been fighting professionally for nearly 20 years, earning an eyebrow-raising record of February 2nd, 62. Some of those fights, especially his 2 controversial battles with Jen Golovkin, have unquestionably led to some wear and tear. As for Crawford, at 37 years of age, he's not getting any younger, with a considerable 41 fights under his belt. Suffice to say, the man has never lost in the ring. Seen through a certain lens, a Canelo-Crawford match makes a considerable amount of sense, for it's with wondering what mountains are left for each man to.
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'll be a well-fought fight.
Both know what it's like to be an undisputed champion in an era when there are far too few undisputed champions to be found. Each fighter also knows what it's like to fight under the bright lights. Canelo's been in numerous legit super fights against Golovkin and Floyd Mayweather respectively, while Crawford finally appeared in his first super fight back in 2023 when he crushed fellow welterweight titleist Errol Spence in 9 rounds of one-sided combat. Should this fight be signed and made official, It's understandable that Canelo at least early on will be the considerable favorite. He's been fighting at super middleweight after all, while Crawford has just recently made the jump in weight up to junior middleweight. That
right now, at the end of the day, I don't want to have credit face Crawford, but
surprisingly, however, Crawford is the taller of the two, albeit slightly. He's also known to adapt well to any situation. What's more, he possesses extraordinary confidence. In other words, Crawford likely won't see this as an underdog story. He'll see it as a battle requiring seriousness, focus, and an effective game plan. Crawford ultimately is a practical-minded man. Then again, so is Canelo, and Canelo has the power to hurt Turkey. Alec, an avid boxing fan, promised that by 2025 he will bring several world-class fights, but the jewel in the crown could be the long-awaited fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, which could be in the works for September.
You never know in boxing. I'll go up and down and fight everybody out there. So, it's possible. Why not?
Both fighters spoke away from Al Shak's radar during a meeting in London last week, and it seems that they would have started the negotiating points for the long-awaited fight between two of the best pound-for-pound fighters today. The fight is planned to take place on the weekend of the celebrations for Mexico's Independence Day in mid-September. ESPN reported. ESPN boxing specialist Mike Coppinger noted that, from what I'm told, they're in the process of finalizing a deal for a fight in September, Mexican Independence Day weekend, and it will be in Las Vegas with the 168 pounds weight limit, no rehydration clause.
What do you think about Terence Crawford calling out Canelo?
I don't like that fight.
Why not?
I don't like that.
However, there is one issue to be defined, and that is that Crawford would require an additional 14 pounds weight jump to match the weight and category of the Mexican fighter. Canelo has been moving up in weight over the years, after starting out at super welterweight, where he won the World Boxing Council world title and later became the unified middleweight champion. He made a brief stop at light heavyweight and defeated Sergey Kovalev to win the International Boxing Federation belt, dropping down to super middleweight, where he would become the first undisputed before belt champion.
Well, I can tell you like this. I think Crawford rebuttal was everybody always say, he hasn't fought nobody, or
The topic of the weight disparity between Canelo and Crawford recently led to a discussion between Cha Sonnen and Dan Rafael, and for once Terence Bud Crawford's decision to move up in weight doesn't seem stupid. 2024 was a sensational year for boxing, from record-breaking fights to highest paydays. We had it all in such a stacked year. It was really tough to decide who the year really belonged to. Canelo Alvarez once again swept the year and won 2 fights conclusively. URBBV became the first ever undisputed light heavyweight champion in the modern era. However, according to Boxing Insider Showbiz, the adult sports writer Dan Rafael, and former Ultimate Fighting Championship middleweight contender Cha Sonnen, the year belonged to none other than Alexander Usyk.
Everybody that he fought was a no name, but I'm gonna tell you like this: what Crawford said, well, there was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing good.
As the trio was trying to decide their fighter of the year on the Ring Magazine's podcast, the Ultimate Fighting Championship veteran couldn't help but draw attention to the biggest curse in boxing that has affected every boxer. Rafael named Usyk as the fighter of the year without any hesitations, but Sonnen had some reservations about it. The 47-year-old mentioned that the Ukrainian only fought against one guy twice in 2024. Meanwhile, other fighters had to fight 2-3 different opponents. However, in the end, the former Ultimate Fighting Championship fighter also went with Usyk because the unified heavyweight champion has not been plagued by boxing's biggest curse, something which had held boxing back a bit against other combat sports in recent times, according to Sonnen Ja.
Because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone might want to go against Canelo. I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say,
boxing has, in my opinion, there's one very fair criticism of it, and I'm a former boxer. I had Olympic aspirations in 2000 myself, so I feel like it's okay to speak. Boxing began Sonnen before he launched an attack against the likes of Canelo Alvarez and Devin Haney. He mentioned how the boxers refused to take on a good fight because of a minimal weight difference, before mentioning the Ryan Garcia Devin Haney example. You talk about a couple of pounds, and they all of a sudden they don't want to Fight who's this gentleman? He ends up getting beat by Ryan Garcia, who ends up testing hot. That dude is still complaining about the weigh-ins. For those who may not know, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are in one of the most controversial rivalries, as the latter tested positive for PED post their fight last year.
This is a possible test for Crawford because of his pound-for-pound abilities, and apparently no rehydration clause. Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke.
Even though Garcia is serving a ban and got the win expunged from his record, Haney filed a lawsuit against him in December. Garcia too filed a counter-suit against Haney. However, it seems the two of them may now be working together on a rematch if all goes well, but their enmity still remains as explosive as last year. On the other hand, according to Sonnen, this inability of boxers to look past some pounds is also stopping the dream fight between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. You got Bud Crawford or you got Canelo. These guys are sitting here and talking about why I shouldn't have to do things that are hard. Over 3 lbs, contended the UFC veteran. However, in Canelo Alvarez's case, he thinks that the weight difference will make this fight one-sided in his.
No, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So why put stipulations in there?
As a result, Canelo feels his potential victory may not get the credit it deserves, which is one of the reasons he is cited for not agreeing to the fight. We have seen some progress in that fight because of His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh now. However, in the past, Canelo has always denied the fight because of the weight disparity. Rising above this issue is the exact reason that Chael Sonnen feels Alexander Usyk deserves the title of Fighter of the Year, according to Sonnen, when other fighters can't look past even 3 to 4 pounds. Usyk gave up 41 pounds as Alexander Usyk jumped up to heavyweight in 2019. He had to fight opponents much heavier than him in all of his heavyweight fights. Since 2019 he has had a massive weight disadvantage. While he has never exceeded 225 pounds, all his opponents have been well over 240 pounds except Daniel Dubois. In 2023, Chaz Witherspoon was 242 pounds, Derek Chisora was 2,555 pounds, Anthony Joshua was 2,440 pounds. Now
you can be the best. So let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time. We don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here. Maybe we'll catch up later in 5 weeks, but I appreciate it. Thank you.
However, the surprising case was his rematch with Tyson Fury, where the Gypsy King weighed in at a whopping 281 pounds, while Usyk came in at 226 pounds, a massive difference of 55 pounds between them, yet Usyk still managed to defeat Fury decisively. Chael Sonnen mentioned that many fighters who have moved up to heavyweights have shown us that weight discrepancy is not as big of an issue as it is made out to be. I think that attitude has a meaning. That's the one thing I like about the heavyweights. I like that they've got a discrepancy in weight. I like that the misconception of the bigger guy is the badder guy gets proven wrong. I like that, explained Sonnen passionately. He then noted the careers of Mike Tyson and Muhammad Ali and how they were always the smallest guys in a fight, and yet they still managed to overpower bigger opponents. And now that Alexander Usyk is again breaking that misconception, he deserves that Fighter of the Year award. My Fighter of the Year is Usyk, declared the UFC legend.
First, what did you think of his performance versus Berlanga?
I think he put on a great performance, like he always do. Canelo is Canelo. I think Berlanga put on a tremendous show as well. He showed a lot of heart and grit and determination as well, and that made for a great fight.
I've been wanting the fight. It's a legacy fight. It's the biggest fight in boxing today. I feel like the fight is the last of the Mickens. I think the fight would be massive. You've got two guys who are top 3 pound for pound going head to head together. I know Canelo is bigger than me, but I'm up for the challenge. It's all respect. And if he does decide to come my way and we get in the ring, then it would be an electrifying fight.
You said what you had to say. I don't know if you saw it. Canelo was asked about the live stream that you and Turk did during the fights. And Canelo said no comment. Your reaction to that, and that seems like that you do want this fight now.
Well, I've been wanting to fight. I feel as
if it does go down, Crawford acknowledges he'll have some challenges. He said he will certainly have to be aware of Canelo's size and power, but he said I've been fighting bigger guys my whole life, and he's guaranteeing he'd come away with a win. Of course I'll beat him. The 41-0 star said there's no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't beat anyone I step in the ring with. And that's all for now. For the very best updates on news, moments, events, and actions in the world of boxing, stay connected with us by subscribing to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to turn on notifications to get notified when we drop quality contents like this. Until next time, peace out.